And what was the ratings? All right, here we'll close the show. What was the ratings? Did NXT hand it off with 30 minutes of women's wrestling, or did AEW hand it off with 2 hours of bullshit?
Well, again, reminder, NXT had 2 weeks in a row of Sasha Banks and then the big Adam Cole-Keith Lee match last week. This week they took a hit. AEW 788, NXT 631.
So they flipped from last week.
Well, no, actually, technically, they flipped from June 24th. June 24th, it was AEW 633, NXT 783. And this week, it's 788 to 631. It's basically telling you there's a pool of viewers out there, and they're going from one to the other based on what we think is going to be on the show.
We brought 200,000 people back to AEW, so they won the fucking ratings of the night.
But we lost because one of the things you brought back was me, and I don't know if I want to watch this. It's so bad.
We definitely lost.
I hate AEW.
We as people lost out bigger than anybody because we had to watch both shows. But we brought our 200,000 people back that wants to watch this as a fucking rib, and they were able to defeat NXT, who just put on a bland show and gave them the last 30 minutes. Wow, what a tremendous triumph. I bet Jericho will be in the ring bragging about that one next week. Yeah, Cornette, at least he brought our 200,000 fucking rib fans back, so we were able to beat the developmental program on the other channel because they gave us 30 minutes of fucking women's wrestling for a main event.
You know, months ago, whenever I would tweet out a critique of AEW as it was happening on TV, I would get a good amount of people agreeing with me and a fair amount of people telling me I was wrong and trying to explain why AEW is great. Last night, I tweeted out several critiques of the show as it was happening, and it was almost 100% in agreement with me. I don't know what that says, because I have a lot of people who follow me on Twitter who aren't in agreement with me on everything I think about wrestling. And they will try to argue their points about various things.
What ammunition did they have last night?
There's none. It's shitty wrestling. There's wrestling and there's shitty wrestling. This is shitty wrestling.
Well, now here's the question for next week, because the ratings, once again.
And I'll say the truth, because I'm not interested in working for those fucking idiots.
Well, I think, join the club. My interest is at an all-time low. At one point, I'm like, well, I could go in there and kick somebody in the balls and run off. And no. But here's the thing. Do the quality of these shows affect the ratings for these shows? Or as I've always thought, do they affect the rating for the following week's show? In other words, you didn't fucking know that this show was going to suck donkey cock until you watched it.
But you knew there was nothing marquee on NXT.
Yes, but no, I'm not talking about NXT. I'm talking about AEW.
That's the same people. It's the same people. The people that went to the AEW show this week that weren't there last week.
They just switched sides. They're turncoats. They're double agents.
Once again, let me go through the AEW viewership from a month ago. 633. Last night, 788. NXT viewership a month ago, 783. Last night, 631. It's the exact same numbers flipped.
But I'm just saying, at some point, everybody's patience runs out. And I've always said that bad ratings are a result of previous bad shows that may have done high ratings. Because the more people that watch a shitty show, the more people that have decided, I don't want to see more of that shit. So when you have a shitty show with a high number, it later leads to crummy numbers even for good shows. This is my belief. I've always said this going back to all the stupid arguments about the Monday night ratings wars when everybody was freaking out over quarter hours. So don't worry about the next 15 minutes. Worry about the next 4 weeks. So anyway.
I can't wait for fucking baseball. That's like the only thing I have to look forward to
there's
right
going to be no
Wednesday
baseball.
Nights.
There's going to be no baseball ever again.
I'm hoping there's going to be baseball in 10 days or whatever it is. On Wednesday nights, I just want to be able to watch the Mets. My mood will improve so much. I won't have to watch either one of these stupid fucking shows live. I could zoom past it the way you do. It's just not
Well,
good.
it's your fault you watch it and not be able to skip ahead.
Well, I want to get it out of the way. I don't want to wait. Like, that's the thing. I get one show out of the way, and then I'm like, I'll watch the other one. Then I say to myself, I can't watch 2 of these in a row.
That's why I have to watch them 2 in a row because I can't stay up that late on Wednesday night, goddamn sitting through this shit. So I watch them 2 in a row, but I try to watch the one that I won't piss me off the most, the first. But I don't want to wait till that show is over. I want to zip ahead. Oh, yes, I do.
I want to watch FTR matches. I was high on Brian Cage until they used him.
Yeah.
It's no one who I want to hear talk ever talks.
MJF sits in the crowd.
If you do a good promo, you're not going to be able to do a good promo you're not going to be able to do any promos on that show for 3 weeks at least.
That's a rule, right?
Tully says something one week, he's in the crowd for the next month. Arn Anderson says something at that press conference a few weeks ago, nothing since. Jake?
Hey, by the way, I've written more hours of wrestling television than any human being walking the face of the planet right now, except maybe for Heyman. Actually, I've written more because Heyman never wrote hours of television. He just shot a bunch of shit and put it together in post. There's always a way for 30 seconds or 45 seconds, especially on a 2-hour program, to expose all of your talents, either working or talking or in a VTR from the previous week, or some way to further their identity, not doing what Shitstain used to do, putting everybody on the roster in an angle and just hot-shotting the show to death, but everybody needs to be represented, and your top guys need to be represented in different ways. I had a chart for every television program that I formatted. It would be Ring of Honor, OVW, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, WCW, WW, whatever the case. Everybody on the roster, are they working? Are they talking? Are they seen in a VTR? Is the promo doesn't have to be live. It can be in a backstage, locker room, VTR, whatever. All my top guys would be seen somehow in all of those categories. But everybody would be seen in at least one of them unless it was just some fucking job guy schlub. They can't even figure out how to do that right. Elementary 101 wrestling television show formatting. If you got people in your fucking territory, some way or another, they get their face or their nose or their voice or something on the program, and they're identified as to who they are. They're not just people that wander up on each other in the back and start fighting for no reason after nobody's called even anybody's name. I can't go on with this anymore. I'm trying to be happy and silly. But that was both shows. And NXT once again wins in terms of quality because they actually had something of quality. AEW wins the ratings based on the 200,000 swing viewers that are just watching this as a fucking rib. And the biggest rib is on both you and me because we had to watch both of them.
And say what you want about that Cody Sonny Kiss match.
Sonny Kitch? If his name was Sonny Kitch, I'd like it better.
Say what you want about that match. That match was the least problematic thing on this whole show.
Which shows you how far they deteriorated from there. Because that was just a joke. If Cody's father saw Cody do that display with a guy that's obviously green, way over his fucking head, in a goofy gimmick, and nobody could tell who was the babyface and who was the heel, Dusty wouldn't have aired that on television. It just made Cody look worse instead of anybody looking better. Just a fucking abomination all the way around. And that was the best thing on the show. So there you go.
Couldn't have MJF talk. We had to hear from Sheeta. I mean, it's just MJF, why is he there if he's just going to sit in the crowd and you barely show him?
He's there to collect his multi-thousands of dollars for the week that he deserves and I'm sure would love to work for, but it's not necessary in that environment. I'm done with this program. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I really, truly wish we were done with this program.
I really, really, truly wish this program was done, but this is wrestling, folks. So we got to get used to it. So we're going to find some more fun and silliness next week and make sure to let everybody know exactly how funny and silly they all are.
How did we reverse
And
roles? How did this happen?
I bet it suddenly happened, but I've got with the program. It's modern wrestling, Brian. And I'm going to make sure that every time they do something silly and funny and phony and bullshit, I'm going to let everybody know about it. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened and what should have happened or what was supposed to happen that got fucked up with my years of experience and my ability to be silly and have fun. You're just an old grump. You're out of touch, Brian. Go out in your front yard and yell at some clouds.
That sounds nice right about now.